How are we doing today?
Good, how are you today?
Good.
Got the whole crew.
Right. Looks a little bigger.
It's a busy day today.
Since last week.
Yeah, Sundays were full.
Oh, yeah.
So we're here all day, yeah. How did you start pushing any of the crate stuff?
We did.
How'd that go?
Yesterday was 2 15 minutes, and this morning was 20 minutes.
Okay. Barking, no barking, a little barking?
Well, yesterday when I did it the first time, I did the bonker thing.
Sure.
And he got like, whoa!
Sure.
And then when he was started to bark, I slammed the, he
The
started to come
kennel
out, I
door?
slammed it in.
Uh-huh.
And then today I just got him in there and said, this is sit down, lay down, and he did.
Mm-hmm.
He barked a little bit, whined a little bit, but nothing like before. Because before he would just stand there and bark.
Right.
And now he actually laid down.
Okay. Did you correct the little barking and whining that he did do?
I ignored it.
You want to correct it?
Oh, okay.
Because we humans, we tend to go by it's not as bad,
Oh, right.
right? But for him, it'll start like, so it was out of 10, maybe you brought him down to 3 to 4, which is good.
Yeah.
But then he goes, 3 to 4 didn't get corrected. And then he goes 4 to 5, and 5 to 6.
Right, then he
and then you're back to 10 again,
Yeah.
right? So I don't even let him get away with the tiniest little whine.
Oh.
It's correction, right? So he learns that there is no gray area. Because dogs are very... Did you happen to look at any of those videos in that playlist?
I did, yeah. I watched them all. We
You
watched
did?
them all.
And some of
The
those
puppy
corrections...
with the mother.
Huh?
The mother puppy with the
The
little...
mother, gosh,
yeah.
there
She
was
is
no
grown.
fooling around.
Exactly, right? Enrique actually sent me that video with the lab when she
Yeah.
comes in, right? And it's a lab, which I love because people only associate that kind of behavior with like pit bulls or Rottweilers, very
Oh.
powerful breeds. And here you have a yellow lab running into the room and just dominating these puppies, right?
Yeah, it was just so funny how they all just kind of laid down and
Right, and then I'm gonna have you put a little bit of pull towards you a little bit, slowly but surely. Pull.
got this in his mouth.
Oh, yeah.
How did that happen?
Yeah. That's the one thing about prong. And then you have to slowly just pull them over to you, and then up, and then now relax. There we go. Okay. He's being a little pushy here. We're gonna pick and choose battles. Okay. So, up, and relax. Right there. Okay. We're gonna pick and choose battles. Because you'll overload them with too much information if you try to do everything at once. Okay. Pull back to your side. There we go, and relax. Good. And I wouldn't praise.
Would not?
No. Because it negates your correction.
Oh, okay.
Right? So my mom. Yep. Pull. And then position back to your side. Good. And then relax. So you see how he's being playful right there?
Yeah.
You know what that means?
No.
You don't care. So,
Like this. He doesn't
May I?
care.
man.
Oh, yeah. He's doing that because he doesn't like to get pinched?
He doesn't want to do what I want him to do
Oh.
because he's a puppy. So you see this?
Yes.
Here.
Yeah, he's got that on it, yeah.
Yeah, so that's him trying to assert control.
Oh.
He's trying to take control back. So I keep the pressure up until eventually he removes the paw. I ideally don't want him, I don't want to remove it myself, ideally. There we go.
Oh.
Okay, so I helped him a little bit. There we go. Then I relax. But that entire time, I kept it up, whereas you're bobbing it. Everybody does it, okay? They bob it. Think of pressure as discomfort, okay? You guys drive?
Yeah.
Been to an expressway?
Today?
Have you been on one? Like
Oh,
in
yeah,
general?
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
You ever have someone drive really close to your rear end,
Yeah.
and then it makes you either switch lanes, speed up, not do anything, or hit the brakes? That's a response to pressure. Peer pressure growing up. Smoke this, do this.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Same thing, but we're doing prong pressure. So when he's in a state of disobedience, I kept it consistent the entire time because he's keeping himself in discomfort. Until he relinquished the leash, it didn't go away
Yeah.
because he's in a
So-
state of resistance.
Yeah, so he was willing to be in pain in his way.
Correct, because he's a dog.
Right.
Because this here is not the same as a mother biting it. It's a means of replicating it, but it would not ever do that level of damage,
Yeah.
right? And when we're dealing with dogs, what makes me a very efficient trainer is that I think and I act as a dog, and I'm willing to go to those degrees. Does that make sense? People are not, because they're afraid of the discomfort or they're afraid of hurting their dog.
Yes.
And I go, I don't want to hurt the dog either, but you have to remove that and go to the extent needed. He's been sitting down,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. Yes.
And then he decides to prove me wrong, right? There we go. There we go.
Yeah.
Right? And what I did when he put his paw on it, because I was trying to get him to remove it, is I just used Cesar Millan method, and I just gave him a jab on the ribs.
Oh.
Right? That's why he started to bounce around a bit.
Uh-huh.
And I helped him a little bit, and I did one more so that he removed his paw. He has to do it. Most people remove the
Well,
paw,
yeah, right.
or they let the leash go. Dog learns nothing. So if he had an object and another dog came and wanted the object, they would make him relinquish it. Okay? They don't just take it away from him unless they have the confidence of just coming in and just possessing it. They make the dog surrender. Okay? And this is, so like when it comes to the barking in the kennel, you can stop barking in the kennel by removing him.
Yeah.
Right? But that's not him giving up the act of barking. So I keep him in the kennel and I provide an aversive that eventually gets him to give it up. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So same thing here. So when he's being a brat, I'm just keeping that pressure up, and I'm going if you keep acting like a brat, you're
Then you're
keeping
gonna
yourself in
just-
this state of discomfort, right? And as I slowly keep going up, it gets more uncomfortable. So eventually he goes, I have a breaking point.
Oh,
Fine.
okay, I'll give up.
Right. So I've had him for like maybe 5 minutes, and I've had 2 corrections, maybe 2.5, and he's been sitting still
Yeah.
without getting up and trying to pull away and
Right.
stuff like that, right? And the second time I went to correct him, it was much faster.
Yeah.
He did yip, but right away, okay, because he's like, I know where Jesse will go.
Right.
Okay. So I don't like taking the leash because I don't want anything associated to me, but there's some stuff that you have to see
Yeah.
in order to kind of understand it, right? So,
Well, yeah, because if we were doing it, well, okay, this isn't working. All right, come on, we'll let you go. But
Right.
you have to just keep. You don't. You
Yes,
Don't
I-
give in.
in the puppy videos, there's one with the Corsos, the big pit bull looking dogs,
Yeah.
and she's harassing the one puppy, right? And it's part one about like a 3 to 4 part series,
Oh.
and it's like a 4 to 5 minute video where she doesn't give up on the puppy. She keeps addressing it, right? Because it keeps acting out.
Yeah,
And she's
right.
like, until you give it up, I'm not going to stop.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So same thing with this guy, but on an easier scale when you understand it.
Yeah.
So like
yeah.
that's why this stuff I do immediately with puppies. I get it out the way from the get-go, because then they grow up with this false confidence that they can get away with anything they want because they were never addressed the way they were supposed to be. You know, and I didn't have to be mean to him,
Right.
right? I just like, all right, want to act a fool, go ahead, but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
But
let
you're
you get
not
away
gonna
with it.
give up,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then, again,
Yeah.
he's not been
Sitting nicely.
yes.
Okay, can we go back to the crate thing?
Yeah.
Okay, so like today he was in there and he was pretty calm, but then he was whimpering a little bit, and I went over and just talked to him. I should have hit it with the bonker?
The bonker, or use your prong collar correction, or the gait correction, right?
Even if he's not trying to get out, I mean, he was just sitting there.
Yeah, so if you can't do the gait correction, right, then you would do the bonker on the kennel, or if he's got his prong on, you'd go and you'd correct him with the prong.
But then you'd have to open the gate.
Yes, right, so like he'd be in the kennel, you go to open it, he's not going to try to leave,
Yeah, he was
but you
not-
still need to correct. So then like I would turn it so that he's still in the kennel, but the chain
That you could
is
get
down,
Yeah.
and I could pop
we've
him.
been using a shorter one you know, when he's not on that, we've been leaving the prong collar on.
Sure.
During, if he's in the house barking or whatever, we've been using the little shorter one.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. So you got half done. You got the barging out the kennel.
Yeah.
Which is
Oh,
good.
yeah.
That's 50%.
Right.
Okay. The next 50% is you can't barge out. You can't barge out the kennel, and then there's a you can't argue in the kennel. You have to accept it, and there's your 100%. Right. So if you go to talk to him, he just learns. If I bark and whine, Mom will console me. Right. But he doesn't take it as consoling as to relax him. It's just attention. And what if he wants more attention?
Then he'll bark more.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I was just curious.
Yes. Mama dogs, you know, like in those videos, it's just, they're very assertive. And there's one where it's like two beagle puppies, and then the mom comes in just with presence, but she's very assertive. Like there's no aggression, but she's just very assertive in the presence, and it like she stops a puppy fight, right? So it's really just that nature of when you disagree with something, it's just a consequence, aversive, or whatever is needed to get the dog to cut the behavior.
Yeah.
Okay? But, I mean, in essentially 2 days' time, you've actually got a pretty good chunk down.
Yeah, I think it was, pretty remarkable in my opinion that, you know, he laid down in there and was relatively quiet.
Very
he didn't
close.
have this aggressive barking, rah, 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 I want you out. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then, all right, the first time I used the bonker, and then, you know, he quieted down. And then the next time I wanted him to go in the crate, like he didn't want to go in.
Right, so then you just have to make him go in.
Okay.
Right? It's not going to make him, permanently dislike the kennel.
That's what I was afraid of.
Yeah,
that he was.
Then I just like, let's say he does that, I pop him in the prong, and I go, if you resist, now you're going to get pronged.
Oh.
Right? And then he tries to buck back, he feels the prong, okay, this isn't good.
Then I'll just go.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You know, like, it's not going to make him permanently dislike it. You might get some aversion because he's trying to avoid the consequence, but he doesn't like the kennel already. You know what I mean? Like that's why he's barking in the kennel.
Right.
So, that's not out of the ordinary. I just make them go in. I never pick up and place a dog in the kennel because, as silly as it sounds, they don't know how they got in there.
Oh, if you put him in.
Correct. Right now, if you lead them in with the leash or you push them in, that's okay. But picking up and putting in or placing in, they don't know how they got there. Okay, so
He's too big to pick up, so.
yeah.
I'll push
So
him
or that or the leash, you know.
Yeah.
And then once you've conditioned, and like let's say he does resist, and you're noticing that, well then I make that a little training session where I do repeated sends and then releases from the kennel using the prong.
In and out, in and out.
Correct.
Oh,
Okay, so you get over that resistance.
Okay.
But nothing out the ordinary.
Right. All right, so, okay, he's been in the crate, nice, quiet. All right, it's been 20 minutes. And he's quiet, but I just went and let him out.
Oh,
Because
yeah, that's fine.
You know, we're trying to do this gradually, not leave him in there for an hour. So
If
when
you
he
want.
comes out, does he get a treat? Baby?
That's the nice mama coming out. I don't mind it if he was doing well.
Oh, okay.
Let's say you put him in for 20 minutes, a good 20 minutes, no barking, no whining. Sure, not going to hurt.
Okay.
Right? That's more so to make you feel better.
Yeah, right.
Okay? But I don't mind. Okay?
Oh, okay.
But if he's been barking and whining for 20 minutes and you're having to address him and then you let him out and then you reward him, I would not
Then
do
that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
No, I think it was because he was quiet, and so I thought.
Yes. So then the next thing is, let's say you go in the room and he gets excited because he's thinking you're going to let him out, right?
Yeah.
I might not let him out. I just walk back out again. Because then you create a guarantee. If every time you see me walk in the room, I'm going to let you out.
Like,
Right? So technically the gate corrections should balance that out so we don't get that. So my dogs, if I crated them and opened the gate and didn't say anything and left for 30 minutes and came back, they'd still be in the crate.
really?
Yes, because it's on my command. Just because the gate's open doesn't mean anything.
Oh.
Okay? And that's like another thing that I have people do when they have dogs have real bad crate issues, is I'll tell them, open the kennel, have your dog go in there, they can't come out. Gate open. That's really difficult because it's a psychological thing.
Well, yeah. How do you make him stay?
Well, if they try to sneak out, there's consequence.
Oh, I see.
You know, so I liken to like, people in prison. Try to escape, get shot. Right? Which,
Yeah.
he's not in that kind of, obviously, that situation, but it's that mentality of strictness.
Yes.
So any consequence if you do something I did not give you permission.
Yeah. Okay.
That's just dog. And then there's a video that I'm trying to find where a dog corners another dog in the corner, and just dominating it, and walks away, and the dog tries to get up, and it turns around, and the dog just sits back down in the corner. So essentially, the dog said, "There's your place. You're not allowed anywhere else on this patio." Very similar to the kennel, right? But that was just one dog dominating another. But it was that clear of like, you're not allowed to move out of that little corner spot. Okay, it's very strict.
Yeah, very.
Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Even though he's a cute little fluffy pupper, instinctually, that's how he talks. It's just what he may need may be less, to a lesser degree than other dogs, but always still appropriate.
Oh, okay.
And again, I've been yapping my mouth another 5 or so minutes, and he's been sitting still.
Yeah, he's been sitting there.
Now, should we reward him because he's doing it, or is it just that's the way he should be?
I go by expectations, okay? Because he was being disobedient and bratty.
Originally, yes.
Right? It's one thing if I say sit, and he sits, and he holds a good sit, and I feed him without, like brattiness. So you have, because you're dealing with two things. You're dealing with behavior and obedience, and I like to look at them as morality and education. Don't jump, don't bark, don't bite, don't lie, don't steal, don't cheat. Sit, stay, come, math, English, science. Okay, so just because a dog knows sit and stuff doesn't make them a good dog. Okay, and then you can have very bad dogs who are very well trained. Okay, same thing for people. A person can be a genius but terrible person.
Yeah.
We can have a very good person who's not the smartest.
Yeah.
Right, they don't correlate. Same thing here. So what I'm focused on was just keep your butt still. Right, not so much sit. Just don't be a brat and jump and do all this goofiness. Yeah. Relax. Okay, it's a very different conversation, and I didn't say sit or anything. It was just expected. You behave yourself, and to me it looks like this. Okay, so if he chose to lay down, I would let it, because if he's not in a sit, he's in a just chill out. So if he laid down and relaxed, I would have no opposition to it. Okay, yeah, it's once you can see it and understand it, it's like again, 3 to 4 year old kid. You can differentiate the things because people tend to think obedience is the answer for the misbehaviors. And I tell them, no, it's really consequences. Okay, but here, giving him direction helps him.
Yeah.
Because then it's a little bit more clear, okay, if he got up and I corrected him, and then he barked and I corrected him, and he started chewing on sticks and I corrected him, and I'm removing options. Eventually, the only thing that's left is relax. So that's what that mom did in that video.
Right.
Yeah. They were playing, and she said none of that's allowed, so they just laid down and relaxed. Okay, so that's the difference between the obedience and the behavior part of it. Okay, other questions?
I think
That's you here. Very good. So the main thing is to be up. There you go, and relax. And whenever you need to get him under control, just remember that the closer you are to that collar, the more immediate leverage you have, right?
Oh.
So like right now when he jumped up, you had to be up here.
Right.
But if I go closer to the collar and it's right there. So then you have even more space to kind of work with.
Yeah.
Okay? So on the walk here, it looked pretty good. I did see a dog where he got a little distracted. So right there, what you could have done is given a bit of slack and then a quick correction that would have told them, ignore the dog. We're moving. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, I think I mentioned to you, because you have training walks and then you just have your walks, right? Go ahead and bring them back in. Yep, there you go, and relax, good. The way you're approaching when you had your leash shorter is like when you want to just go for a walk and not have to worry about dealing with the nuances of training, okay? You're removing how much leverage or leeway he has when you have it shorter, okay? So that's what I call, there's dog training mode and there's dog handler mode. Dog handler mode is when you're just walking and you don't want to teach him anything, okay? Because you're trained to know how to use your tools to get the maximum usage out of them. So like, I'm very well versed in prong collar. That when I took Smokey, boom, right away, relaxed puppy, right? That's handler mode. That wasn't so much training mode. I just know how to use my tools to get them to cut the crap, okay? Training mode is teaching the dog a skill. So last week was training mode. We're teaching him how to heel, the foundation, right? And then, so when you don't have time to do your turns and stuff, and it's kind of like we want to walk out, get you to potty and go back inside, you're in short leash handler mode. Does that make sense? Yeah, until you get to the point, ideally, where he's so well trained that you just go out and you give your cues and he does it.
Okay, so like when we take him out first thing in the morning and he really has to go, he's like beeline.
Right.
You know, I have to keep up with him because he's going so fast.
Sure.
So I shouldn't try to make him
It's fine.
slow down.
It'll work backwards. Because once he's potty trained and he can hold it, he won't have to rush out. Right?
Oh, even after all night? Yeah, this is all night, and then he really has to.
Yeah, like my dogs will wake up at 7 and I won't take them out till like 9.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
You know,
Well,
he's still a pup.
Who runs the house?
Yeah, he's still a pup, so I'll give him that. You know, if I had a puppy, I'd be more immediate. But this is why, like, if I wake up in the morning and the puppy's in the kennel all night, and I wake up at 7, I might still go make my coffee, brush my teeth, get dressed, have breakfast, and then let them out, because I don't create the pattern of alarm, then we run out. Okay, we go out when I'm ready.
When you're ready.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. There's
Well,
no
I
right or
guess we
wrong.
have to correct that.
Yeah, and I always go back. Some people like just getting it done, and I go, I don't care. Like, you know, and other people like having the relaxedness of.
Well, yeah. I mean, now it's okay. It's been. I mean, we get up at 6 to take him out because we think it's been from 10 at night till 6 in the morning.
No, how old is he? 5 months.
5
6
months.
Yeah. Good. There you go. And relax. Good. You could probably push them to last to about maybe 7 to 8ish, you know. And if you want to do it gradually, I would do like 1 week you do 6, then the next week 6:30, then 7, you know, for a week, and you gradually build them to 10 to 8. Around 6 months is when a puppy is capable of holding it to an adult degree. Okay, if you've trained them to hold their bladder. A guy his size should be fine. Smaller dogs is a little bit different.
Yeah.
Smaller dogs have a tiny little bladder. It's kind of like that.
But then during the day, we usually take him out about every 3 hours.
Oh wow, that's a lot. You should be on a 5-hour schedule.
Oh.
Okay, so we can do a Zoom. If you want to work on potty training stuff, we can definitely do it on the Zoom. Okay, but right now what you're doing is perfectly fine.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't had an accident in the house. That we were just thinking that he needs to go out that often.
It's an hour per month. So if he's at 5 months, 5 hours is technically what he's capable of holding it up if he's been trained to do so.
Oh,
Okay, so if you try to jump to that, you might find potty mistakes happening.
Right, but
because
if we gradually lengthen it, just like in the morning,
Yeah.
then that'll be fine.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
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 Anything else?
Well, the other thing we talked about when we had the Zoom about
Yeah, distraction.
if we're together.
Oh,
walking,
sure. Yeah.
Or like today, okay, we go out to the car and I take him to the dog run to just pee before we get in the car. And then he's like, where's my
Yeah, he's
Where's
worried about
Michael?
me, and then when I have him, he's worried where she's at.
I think would be easiest for you is to go into handler mode and just shorten that leash so that you can counter, like, you know, if you're walking and he's trying to more engage with Michael, I can use immediate tension to redirect them of, don't worry where Michael's at, we're going this way.
Oh, okay.
Or
Okay.
vice versa.
Okay.
Yes. There's a way to, like, be able to have a slack leash and have, you know, Michael in front and stuff. I do a little bit more practice with this before pushing for that.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
I do. We were starting to give him food in his cage, but if he barks, we take the food out.
No. So you give him 5 minutes, right? And this can be an exception to the correction stuff, right? I put the food in, close it, put my timer on 5 minutes. If he's barking the whole time because he's like, I don't want to eat in here, after 5 minutes is up, I open it, remove the food, okay? And then I try again the next meal. So eventually he learns, like, hey, I can either waste time in here barking, or I can eat my food.
So you give him some time.
Yeah, okay? Because if you try to correct him for the barking while you try to feed him, he's not going to want to eat because you got corrected.
Yeah.
So that's like an exception,
Okay.
right? Because the correction is technically you don't eat, because you're so focused on being a brat
Yeah.
that you're not getting the opportunity to eat your food.
Okay.
Okay, so then he'll look at it and go like, you know what? This is limited resource, limited opportunity. I better eat that food, and I'm going to learn to like that kennel.
Okay.
Okay.
I think we tried that yesterday. And I don't think we didn't have the procedure right,
Sure.
the steps.
Yeah. No, you're
So,
fine.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you need, you can always shoot me an email as well, and I could just reiterate it to you via email
okay.
if you need to.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. It just seemed like when we tried it yesterday, he hardly ate anything and he was barking. So, we took the food away, but then wasn't he hungry?
Was he hungry or he wasn't hungry?
No, he wasn't. Like,
yeah. Well, puppies are pretty good about eating what they need. Okay. Every now and then you'll get an emotional eater. Is what I say.
well,
But
yeah.
most dogs and puppies will only eat what they need.
He, in the last week or so, 2 weeks or so, prior to that, morning comes, you put the food out, he's like eating it. And now the last couple of weeks, he kind of picks at it and then walks away.
Were you free feeding? Were you leave the food out all day?
No.
Okay.
No.
How long would you leave it out?
Well, he would eat it all.
Oh, but in the past 2 weeks.
The past 2 weeks, I'd leave it out maybe, if we fed him at 6, I'd pick it up by 9.
Yeah, 5 minutes.
Oh, really? Just leave it there for 5 minutes?
Yeah, because then he learns it disappears. Because if it's like free feeding, you're not free feeding, you're removing, but it's
Yeah.
still quite a long time,
Yeah.
right? That it kind of loses its value. But when it's limited resource and it's only down for a period of time, more valuable. Otherwise, you might be overfeeding. Okay.
Yeah. I think we were giving him 1.5 cups, 1.5 cups, and then when he went to the vet for shots or something, and she weighed him and she said, "Oh, you could give him a little bit more."
Sure.
So maybe he really doesn't.
Yeah, dogs, like let's say you up to 2 cups and you see him still eating 1.5 cups,
Yeah.
he's still at 1.5 cups. In my experience. And then like you'll see when the dog's looking for more and fill it up, and then the bag should give you a guideline.
Yeah.
But every dog is different, their metabolisms are different.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay.
I would just keep an eye on it when you're feeding and then adjust as needed.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right. So we should wait. Oh, I'm sorry. One more not training question.
Sure.
What about if he has a dry nose?
I know, I remember reading something about it that a dog having a dry nose is like a bad thing. But my pit has like a dry nose from time to time and she's fine.
Give him water.
Okay.
Yeah, no. I wouldn't. I always go by behavior. If he's
Put
looking
chapstick
lethargic,
on
chapstick. If he's looking lethargic, not eating, looking lethargic, get a clear shift in typical behavior.
Right.
That's when I start to show concern.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but yeah, I wouldn't worry
The
so much
vet
about
didn't
the
say
dry
anything
nose.
about it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right. We're done with the questions.
So what we're gonna do is just a real quick review of what you remember from last week, and then we're gonna move on to the next thing.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, just walk. You're good. Just walk. There you go. Excellent. Good and relax. Relax. There you go. Oh no. Yeah, people always think it's their speed, but relax. So their arms. There you go, like that. Good. Yep. That's good. Yep. Slower. Stop. Very good. And then forward. Yep, forward. Keep walking. There you go. Good. And relax. Good. Very good. Good. Be slow to stop when you're ready. Yep. There you go. That's fine. Like that. Good. So when you're starting to walk, ideally Smokey should start walking with you, right? But if he delays, and everybody again does this, because they tend to delay as well.
Oh.
So then he's looking at you, looking at him, and it's like, who's leading who, right? So that's why I was like, keep walking, right? Because eventually the tension's going to bring him, right?
Oh, right. If I'm walking and he's not coming, yeah.
The leash is going to bring him along.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So And then he starts to learn, okay, if I just sit here, at some point the pressure's gonna kick in and I'm gonna have to move him on, okay? So what we're gonna do is, this looks good, is we're gonna add in, go ahead and let me pull up, get him to that sitting position, yep, and relax, good, yep, good job, going into handler mode. So yeah, when you have a dog passing by, stopping, shortening just like you are, relax though. So in case he tries to go, and up, yep, and relax, there you go. He doesn't have much leeway, but if you give more slack, especially for laying down, you can shoot off, and next thing you know,
Yeah, we're off to
yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and attach the word heel. Heel means, so everything that we taught last week and everything that we teach today is going to go into effect. It's the on switch. Okay? So, heel puts him into working mode. The word break puts him on free mode. Right? So, like, if I clock a dog and I say heel, cool, they're here, they're glued to my side, they shouldn't be pulling any of their nonsense. I come to a stop, they auto sit, break, then they're free to pee, poop, roll around, smoke a cigarette, I don't care. Okay? Lightly pull up. And what we're also going to do now is, because now we're in healing mode, we're going to be strict about this position, okay? The sitting position.
Oh.
So he's not in a sit, he's in a heel, but sit is built into the command. Okay, so earlier I said if he lays down, I'm not going to care. But we weren't in any kind of command. Okay, we were just in relaxing mode. Now he's under command, even though there's been no word, he's in the command of heel. Okay?
So part of that is sitting.
Correct. So even though he's laying down, it's not a bad thing on the scale of what Smokey can do, right? But it's out of command. That he thinks, well, if I can just lay down whenever I want, then why can't I just go sniff a dog or pee on any tree whenever I want? That's how the dog thinks. He's like, if I can do this, why can't I do that? Okay? So it's very strict. Now he has to maintain this position because he's under the heel command. Okay?
So no laying down at stoplights.
Correct. If he's in healing mode, he's sitting all the time unless given permission to lay down, released, or given the down command, once we word that. Okay? So what we're going to do is, since Smokey's on our left side, you're going to cue the word heel first. Up. There you go. You're going to say heel, and then you move forward with your left leg first. Okay? So heel, and then like forward, right, left leg. You're going to walk for a little bit. Yep, keep moving, good. And then you'll slow to a stop when you're ready. Good, that's good. Heel, left leg.
Heel.
Good, and forward, good. Slow turn when you're ready. Good. And slower. Good, reinforce the sit. Good, and relax, good. Heel, left leg.
Heel.
Good. Slower. Slower, stop. Good. We're gonna let that go for now. Okay? He's out of position, but he's sitting. We'll let it go. Heel, left leg. That's fine. Yep.
Heel. If I give him a little tug?
You just move.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Good, slow to stop. Up for the sit. Yep, we're not going to care about the position for now. Okay. And again, picking and choosing battles, right?
Yeah.
Reinforce the sit. Good. And then one more, heel, left leg.
Heel.
Going to give a bit of slack here.
Yeah, so we
Get ready to do an about right turn abruptly. There you go. There you go. And relax. Good. Slow to stop. Good. Reinforce, yep. And relax. Good. Okay. Go ahead and heel. You'll pivot back and bring them here. Good, very good. You want to try, Michael?
Something? What's the...
Yep, reinforce the sit. Yep, cool. There you go. Good. There you go. Yep. There you go. Good. And then relax. Good. Up. Good. Go ahead and position yourself next to him. Up. Good. And relax. Up again. There you go. And relax. Good. So you can always tell when a puppy takes it serious because of their demeanor after the correction. So earlier, when he was first being a brat, he kept mouthing at the prong, right? And then right when I said like he's not phased, he like jumped up, right? Yeah, fall up. Keep it up.
Keep it up.
Keep it up. Yep. And then right there, almost, and then relax. Very good. Okay.
You don't reward now.
You don't reward. Now go ahead and up. There you go. Yep. There you go. And relax. Good. So right there. So you see this? Right? How he goes to sniff other stuff. So it was a much better correction. Up. But afterwards, he still went to like dilly-dally with other stuff. Right? When you have a correction that resonates with the dog, you're going to see a shift. Okay, where he's going to be like, okay, I'm not going to play games anymore. Okay, but what I liked was he kept it up. He eventually went fine and removed his paws from the leash. So you won that battle. Okay, and all it took was you just keeping that leash up. Okay, and then wearing him out. Because for him, he's got to hold up his body weight and put pressure on the leash. He's exerting more energy. All you're doing is this, right? So eventually, I can outlast the dog where they go fine, and they give it up, okay? And the first battle is always the hardest, and those are the ones you always want to win, because then he's going to be less incentivized to push later, right? So like with the barking, if I keep letting the dog out, and I try to like outlast him one day, he's gonna bark for like 30 minutes because he knows like at some point I'm gonna drive you nuts and you're gonna let me out, right? It's the same thing here, okay? So I'm gonna have you do the same thing as Melanie. You're gonna cue that word heel first, and you're gonna move forward with that left leg as well, okay? Whenever you're ready. Good, and then slow turn. Good. Slower, stop. That's okay for now. I'm not gonna care that he's off. I'm only gonna care that he sits.
That's what he does. At the light sheet does that.
He does that? Okay.
He faces up.
We're gonna try for 4 more. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Good. And slower. Stop. Good. 3 more. And like if he does this, what you can do is as you're walking, you can just pull up. Okay? And then once he lets go, you relax. Good turn. Good. 2 more. You can, like if he's lagging too much, you put a lot to the light pull forward, and he should speed up. Good, and last one. There you go, good. Good. Yep, slow stop. He's got like a twig under the butt. That's what he's trying to remove. Yep, you got it. Very good. Excellent. So, now we're going to get a little bit more nuanced. Okay? Let me when we do turns with the heel, when Smokey is paying attention, they're very specific. Okay, does Scott ever go over this with you? Okay. So, so you can do this with Copper, and it'll work for him too.
Oh.
Okay, Copper and Piper. So, Smokey's on our left, right? So we're leading with the left leg to cue to him that we're moving. Yep, there you go. Almost. Yep, good job, yep. And you just hold it. Almost. Yeah, it's okay. Almost. There it is. And relax. Now up again. There you go. And I'm going to have you just use your leash to pull him to your left. There you go. Like that. But you see how he gave that up. Okay. Now, the softness
He almost
coming out,
won though.
right? Yeah, I saw it. Because you're like, come on, like, because it gets uncomfortable, right?
Yeah, I know.
But just remember, if you do give that fight up, you're creating problems.
Later on.
Because as he grows into adulthood, because he's going to shift at 6 months and at a year, personality-wise. Okay, so if he decides to get more testy, so think of a year to 2 years as the teenager brain. Okay, I think we all know how the teenager years go, right? But if you do all this stuff now, you're setting a very good framework so that when he's a teenager, mentally, when he's trying to give you like little battles, much easier to win if you've already proven to him before, like, hey, you're not going to win. Okay? But you did well, and I saw you shift it and you grabbed it higher, which gave you more leverage, and eventually, there you go. You were able to ride him out and he let it go. Okay, so that was good. So, with these turns, people tend to do these naturally until I tell them to do it on purpose, and then they make mistakes. Okay, so if Smokey's on our left, when we make left turns, you want to lead them with your right leg. Okay, if Smokey's here and you try to turn with your left leg, you're going to step or walk or trip over him. Okay, so when you cross over with your right leg, you're turning at a 90-degree cut, very pronounced. Then your left leg, and you should see Smokey shift and then back in with the right leg to go the opposite way. Okay? So by the third step, you're going the other way, so you're U-turning. Okay? So I like to use the sidewalk as a guide. So if I'm here and I step on the crack like this, and then the left leg, and then I will turn again.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So if you're on a regular sidewalk, you would stay within the width of a sidewalk. Okay?
Oh, okay.
For the about turns or pivots, I was watching, you guys are already doing this naturally, is that you extend your left leg, go back on your right leg, and then back with your left leg like this. Okay?
Okay.
So I'll do it both ways. So it's up. Good. So out with the left, back on the right, left, same thing, left, right, left. Okay, so it's a 3-step process. Okay? When we do this, you want to make sure you slow down before those turns so that it gives him time to see what you're doing to allow him to read your physical cues. Okay? If done correctly, there should be no tension on the leash because he's watching what you're doing. Okay? So, left turns, we're walking, 90-degree cut, 90-degree cut, we're back to the opposite. Okay? 90-degree cut, 90-degree cut, and we're back going the opposite. Okay? Pivots, extend the left leg, back on the right, back on the left. Okay? So I'm going to coach you through this, and we're going to do it one turn at a time. Okay, so we'll do a batch and then another batch. Okay? We're going to start with the crossover turns because that tends to be the hardest. Okay?
The left turn.
To the left, correct. Okay? So you'll say heel, left leg.
Heel.
Yep. And slow. And get, yep, right, left, right. Like that. That was good. Very good. And I don't know if you saw right there, Smokey was like looking at him and kind of moving off. That was good. Right, left, right. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Like during the day,
Yes.
I feel like we'll be able to like so
But by leading with the right leg, you avoid tripping over him. Right, left, right. There you go. Good. Right, left, right. Good.
So that's when you're reversing direction.
Right, and if you need to make just a soft left turn, you would just keep going. Yeah. Good. Okay. Now we're going to try a batch of the pivots, and that's the turn led by the up, up, up. Good. That's the turn led by the left leg. Right? So you're walking, he's on your left, extending your left leg, back on your right leg, forward on your left. Okay?
Okay, I was doing something. One more time?
Sure. So extend the left, right? Back on the right.
Oh. Just a rocky.
Yes. And I exaggerated, for visual.
And now here.
Left, right, left.
Just come.
Perfect.
Oh, okay. Just a rock.
Yep. So you see how he swings around? Yep. Good. That one you got a little distracted. Right. There you go. We're gonna do one more. Yep. There you go. And slow to stop. Good. What I'm going to have you do here is blend those two turns together. Okay? So you'll change them up.
Oh.
You'll do left turns and then pivot backs, however you want. Okay?
Heel.
Right, left, right. Good. Good. Yep, you got it. You got it. Keep going. There you go. Good. So you see how he like turned and gave space? Good. Right, left, right. There you go. Very good. Forward. Good.
Want to try and do it? Good.
Good.
And when do you graduate?
You can do it after, like, if he does a good turn, or when you come to us. If he does something well, I don't care. Like, you can feed at those moments. Like, let's say when he auto sits without any leash, feed those, But then the ones that I have to make him sit, I wouldn't feed. So you're helping him distinguish. Like, if I do things on my own, I get rewarded. If I don't do them, well, they make me do it. Okay.
We might be real dizzy.
Okay.
There you go. Up. Yep, you got it. There you go. Very good. Yep. Good job. Good. So we're going to start with one turn at a time. So we'll start with the crossovers, okay? That's the left turn. Good. Good. So you're going to start the left turns leading with the right leg.
You're going to have left, right, left first.
It's going to be right, left, right. Oh, the other way. So, it's okay. So you're doing the crossover turns. So it's the left turn led with the right leg.
So I'm going this way?
Correct, but leading with your right. There you go, like that. Yep. And there you go.
Oh.
Good. So that's the pivot. Okay. You did it correctly, but you want to do left turns towards Smokey.
But I go with my right foot.
Correct. So you're crossing over Smokey with your right leg, turning left.
Heel.
Yep, you got it.
Heel.
Good. There you go. Very good. Good.
All right, now.
Now you now here. So he got ahead, right?
Right.
So how would we correct that? From what you know.
Walk faster. No. Pull him back? I don't know.
What did we do last week?
Pull up? I don't know.
Opposite way.
Just make that. Oh.
Right.
Oh, okay. All right. I got
So,
it.
yeah, if Smokey ever pulls ahead, the correction is always about and try to catch him with that prong collar. Okay? Good.
All right, let's try this again. Ready? I'm ready. Okay. Heel.
Right? There you go. You got it. Good job. There we go. Very good.
I'm gonna need note cards.
It is like dancing. It very much is.
I wasn't very good at that.
There you go. Good move. Good move. Want to slow to stop here? And up. Correct. Good. So, good turns. We're missing one thing, and that's the slow down just before the turn.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
It'll help
I'm
clear
going
that
too
up a lot.
Fast.
Right.
Okay, watch the tail.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So we're gonna try those again.
Yeah.
This time slowing down prior to the turn.
Slow before I turn.
Yeah, at least 2 to 3 steps. More is fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, more is fine. But at least 2 to 3.
Backwards. Heel. Do the turn slower or slow down before I turn?
Slow down before you turn. So here, you see how he's distracted the other way? You could do an abrupt right turn to correct him.
Oh, like get him away from
Yeah,
what he was interested in.
correct. Because you're trying to tell him, don't worry about that, worry about me.
About what we're doing.
Yeah.
Okay. Heel.
Right here. Yep, you got it. Good.
He's still ahead of me, so I should not let him do it.
Right. Yep. There you go. It's better. Better. He's being really testy today. I'll tell you that. Welcome to raising a puppy.
Yeah, I guess. Okay.
You're doing good though. You're doing good. Uh-huh. Good turn. Yep. That was a tug and you. There you go. That was better. Yep. Good.
I don't know. I have to work on this.
There you go. Yep. Forward. Good. Good turn. There you go. Good turn. slow to stop when you're ready. Right? There you go. Good. And, yep. Good. And relax. Good. Okay. So you got the motions down. Those are all good. He's being a bit more challenging today. Okay. Now we're going to work on the pivots to the right, but leading with your left leg like that.
But I'm still going in a circle.
Not a circle. It's an immediate pivot back. So you're walking.
Oh, back the same way I was going.
Like that. Try it first and we'll see what happens.
So I'm going to go this way with my left foot.
No, you're extending the left foot, right? And stepping back on the right foot to go back the opposite way.
Okay. So we're walking forward.
Uh-huh.
And then I'm going to step.
Yep. Yep. Perfect. Just like that.
Okay. Heel. Okay. Heel.
Left, right, left. Good job. Right, left. Good.
This is easier than the other one.
Yeah, that's why I start with the crossovers because they tend to be harder for people. There you go. Good. Oh, excuse me. There we go. Try for a couple more. You got it. Good job. Slow to stop when you're ready. Good. Okay. Now, same stuff, but not, you're going to go through them interchangeably. So you're going to be doing both the crossovers and the pivots.
We'll see. One of us will probably be on the floor, on the ground.
Unless you drum. I know.
Okay. Left, right, left. It's just the opposite.
Yes. The leg opposite to the turn is what you're leading with.
Heel.
Yep. You got it. Just forward, forward, forward.
You're looking at me like, oh, really? Heel.
Good. Good.
I go with my right foot.
If you're turning left. Perfect. That's correct.
Might have this.
Yep. You got it. Good job. Yep. Yep, you're good. Good turn. Oh, excuse me. Good, good.
So now when you're so interested in that other dog, should I just stop or keep going?
Stopping is the easiest. Okay, stopping and having them sit is the easiest way to have the most control. Okay. when you see him become stimulated, if you're stationary, he sits, but he's like this, right? He's all perked up. You can correct that, and that's where a firm leash top would come into play, because then you're telling him, don't worry about the dog. Okay. Questions so far?
It's just the opposite. When you go right, and then you go left.
Correct. So if you were to make a soft right turn, it would just be lead with your left, and then just keep going the opposite way. Right? Right now, the way we're doing it is we're pivoting for the sake of space. So if you won't always be able to make a U-turn because there might be people here. So then you have to pivot, needing to change directions. Okay. You only do the pivot, with leading when he's paying attention. If he's pulling ahead, you just turn. Because he's already not paying attention.
Right.
Yeah. The whole point of these cues is when he's paying attention, he's able to follow your lead and move with you without, which then leads him to avoiding the correction, right? Because he's paying attention.
Just be coming along and I'm not pulling along.
Correct. Okay. But if he's not paying attention, you just do your correctional turn and pop him on the leash. Okay. So the one drawback to prong collar, and you're doing well, is that the corrections, right? So if you look at Smokey here, what does that tell you? He's alert. If you look at if you look the way he's looking at his play, his posture, right? And then he's whining. See how he's leaning? See how he's fidgeting? So all of that is him becoming distracted and wanting to engage with that. Okay. So here, go ahead and just give Smokey a correctional pop. Okay. You see how there's no shift there? See how he's still staring? See how he's still whining? Okay. So what would be, if you're wanting him to stop engaging with that, what do you think you need to do after that first correction? Well, that's the easy way out. But let's say you're sitting here and you want him to behave himself. Okay, despite the fact that there's a distraction here, you already corrected once, it didn't work. What does that tell me? Firmer, correct. Okay, correct, right? So, and people think like, well, Jesse, how does the dog know what I want? If I don't tell him. I'm like, because dogs don't understand what words mean anyways. Okay, they understand biting, right? So if the first bite wasn't enough, then he needs a firmer one, just like in those videos, right? So learning how to correct correctly is a skill set, okay, using a prong collar, okay? So what I would do as a challenge and to learn how to do this more correctly, you're good. Almost. And relax. Good. And reposition them to your left. Yep, there you go. Excellent. And then, yep, almost. Okay, he's just playing you. Okay? Because he's going, I've had enough, right? But if you cave in, because what I want is here. He wants here. That's why he's whining. So, and he knows I want this. So if I let this go, he wins, right? So remember in the video, there's a puppy whining for like 2 minutes straight. She just keeps harassing the puppy until eventually it just quiets down. Same thing, okay? But mom, she kept going because she knew this is going to toughen up the puppy, okay? In a good way. So, okay, trust me, the prong collar he has on is not going to kill him, okay? It might hurt you a little bit emotionally, but I can already see his personality, and he's not even 6 months yet. Okay, 6 months is terrible twos brain, is how I put it. Okay, yeah, right, terrible twos. And in the years, teenager brain, so you remember that, right? So you just got a 5-month-old puppy now, so I'm trying to prep you for those stages, okay? So, yep.
So, okay, when he goes to set down, then I should make him feed right next to me.
So what I do, I don't need to be perfect, right? But at least back to what our original position was. And I never accommodate the dog ideally, okay? Like I always make the dog, he moves, right? Because it's me just asserting more rules, and the dog goes, all right, like you're very black and white. Like this is what I do, and this is how I do it. Okay.
All right, so
and that's all frustration. Okay, up and then relax. Right.
And then I would pull him over to where
Right,
I
but
am.
you subconsciously pivoted.
Sort of turned.
You sort of turned. You turned. Okay.
I met him halfway.
So yeah, you'd want to I always keep myself anchored. Okay, and then I make the dog accommodate. Right. So and you can see here, see how he's still attent to everything going on.
Yeah.
So even though he's throwing this big spiel, he's still not
Right.
giving in. Right.
Yes.
It's more so just frustration. It's more so like all this. The vocalness of it is all just frustration.
Oh.
Okay, it doesn't mean pain.
Oh.
Okay, it doesn't always mean pain. And I know because I know how to read dogs and I can take into the environment and I'm processing all these things, whereas you're learning
Yes.
all this stuff, right? Because if he really cared that much, he would not look like that. He would be like, okay, Mom, I'm sorry.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, but he's still watching.
Yeah, look at him.
everything that's going on.
Yeah, he's looking at everything else, right? So it's very hard to get a puppy to sit still, okay? Because they're puppies, but it doesn't mean that they can't. It just means that it's more challenging. It's like a little kid. When my mom took me to church, it was hard when I was a kid to sit still for an hour, but it was still expected that I sit still for an hour, So what I would suggest is, if you go over by, because you're downtown, right? Over by Scott?
Yeah.
Or Jason?
That's right.
If you go by there, there's like this similar, and and just sit by.
Grand Park, you could go to Grand Park.
Grand Park, yeah, and it just have stuff going on and have them sit there for like 3 to 5 minutes and work them through all this stuff and then go for a little bit of a walk, find another busy place, stop, have them, force them still for a few minutes.
Yeah, okay.
You're challenging him to see this energy and not have to be a part of it. Okay?
Yeah.
And expect it to feel like it's getting worse because you're challenging something. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And you have to develop your skill set in order to be able to go to those places and not have it be a challenge.
Right. So that he could just be there and not be bothered by anything else.
Yes. Okay. That's how I develop my skills. Is I put myself in situations, knowing what was going to happen, so I could work on those things. Okay. So, otherwise, he's doing what I would expect. Okay. You guys are doing well. You're taking in the concepts well, but now it's really just that skill set of using your prong collar to correct him. Okay. So that's the difference between e-collar and prong. Is prong is very physical, technical, whereas e-collar is just you press a button. Okay. So, questions?
No, I think we just have to practice.
Yeah, and you got a puppy. That doesn't mean that he can get away with everything.
True.
Right?
True, yeah, because you walk down the street.
You're okay.
South Loop is like central. Or something.
Sure.
And there's a lot of distractions. So that's good that we know that he's got to listen to us.
Yeah,
Instead of making it to be a challenge as to who's going to win.
Correct.
We're going to win.
Correct. Okay. And then just remember, if you ever feel bad, just go back to those videos and go, Mom was very strict, and they yelped, but it's part of the process. Okay. You're not abusing the dog.
No, I guess you just have to get used to the fact that he's yelping, but he's really, like I said, he's just uncomfortable, but he's not.
Correct. The dogs bite each other.
We're not.
Okay.
Had with Jason's 2 dogs.
Do they correct them?
They just run around like this.
Yeah. Now, if you ever take them to a dog park or anything, just watch. If you get noise from another dog, you'll see that they'll snap at them. Sure. It's up to you. If he's fully vaccinated, right? Expect that you probably might have to chase him around because he's not going to have recall. At least not yet. Which is just part of the process. And then, just learn to know the dogs in the neighborhood. There's some dogs that go there that shouldn't be there. And then I go, okay, they're there. Not going to go today. I'm not opposed to it. Some dogs do well in dog parks, other dogs don't. I leave it up to the owner. It's not like he can run away unless somebody left the gates open. So.
Well, would he go in, you know, like the one closest to us has two, one for big dogs, one for little dogs.
Yeah, it's size, the Fred Anderson.
Yeah.
That's a really good dog park.
Yeah, it is really nice. It's really clean too.
I
would
think
you put them in the little dogs or the big dogs?
It goes by their weight. I think the weight limit is 25 or 35 pounds for the small dogs, and every other dog goes into the big section. Okay.
It just seems like sometimes the ones in the big section, like, I mean, they're really big and they run around and they seem really aggressive. And
yeah, well, that's how dogs play. You know, they're very physical. They're very mouthy. You know, they tackle each other. They bite each other.
Yeah.
You know, they growl and all that stuff. I just go by your comfort. Okay. If you're not sure, then my advice is, you know, he's got a copper Piper.
Yeah.
You know, so. Alrighty?
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
you.
All right.
You have a good week. If you need anything else, let us know.
Okay.
All
See
right.
you next week.
And then we'll see you in the week. Okay?
Okay,
And if you
sounds
need
good.
any other help, like potty question stuff or whatever,
Okay.
we can always do a Zoom for that.
Okay. All right. We'll work on all of this. We'll let you know how the crate trip goes.
Yes. All right. Be
It'll
tough.
probably- Yeah, be tough. Right. Okay. All right. Thanks.
Take care.
Enjoy the rest of your day.